About 1910, a gentleman by the name of Walter Thompson, not J. Walter Thompson of the advertising firm, but Walter Thompson, who was an executive with Travelers Insurance Company, and his wife Marjorie came to this area, and they bought 25 acres of land in at the corner of Big Beaver and Adams, with Kensington Road being the western boundary of it. And the children at that time were 2 years old and 5 years old. There was another child born, Jane, the year the house was built, the year after the house was built. And I was fortunate enough to be able to interview Jane, who lived in Birmingham back in 1992 when I was doing interviews about this house. And she provided most of the information that I have in this little report. Jane told me he called it Eastover because it was located east over Woodward from Birmingham, which was the metropolis of the area at the time. They later gave the naming rights Eastover to Judson Bradway, the developer, and he used the name when he developed his large subdivision along Long Lake Road between Adams and Squirrel Road. And it also now is the name of the elementary school in that area. You can see from this 1915 bird's eye view map section how sparsely the area was populated at the time, and the artist who did the map in 1915 did a pretty good job of representing the house Eastover in his painting of the area. I've included in this presentation a 1915 Christmas greeting card that Walter Thompson and his wife Marjorie gave out to their friends with an inscription on it. If I can remember correctly, it reads, "Wishing you a cheery, old-fashioned Christmas and a new year without care, December 1915. So you see a pretty good idea of what the house looked like then, and from the previous images we showed, it looks pretty much like that still today. In the picture, the 1915 Christmas picture, you notice a pond in the front of the picture, and you also notice a building on the right-hand side. The building on the right-hand side was a little house that was built for Marjorie, who was a artist and used it as her studio. The pond in the front was subsequently drained and made and filled in and used then to build homes on in our present little subdivision that's there. Jane told a little story that gives an idea of what it was like living back here in that time, in 1915. Her father, Walter, would ride the interurban train into Detroit down Woodward Avenue for his work. One winter day coming back, there had been a big snowstorm, and he walked from there to the corner of Maple and Adams, and he called home saying he was on his way and he'd walk up Adams Road to the house. Well, he didn't show up in enough times to have elapsed, so his wife sent a hired man out with a sleigh to look down the road, and they found Walter buried in the snow, passed out, and they brought him home, resuscitated him, and so forth. So it was a big snowstorm, probably bigger than what we get most of the time nowadays. The house was sold in 1921 by the Thompsons after having lived there only 11 years. They moved to California because Marjorie, Walter's wife, had tuberculosis and was seeking warmer climates for her health. After living there for only 2 years, she died, and Walter came back, but he didn't move back into his house. He had sold it to Douglas Davis. Walter remarried, and I've included a couple of pictures of his daughters, Barbara, the older daughter, and Jane, the one I interviewed, from the Afterglow magazine in the 1920s, and also a great picture of Walter and his son John that appeared in a magazine in 1926. One thing I've been unable to really research properly or find any answer to is the rumors that I keep hearing about it having once been the home, a hangout, if you will, for the Purple Gang back in the late 1930s. There are some stories that seem to make sense, but I've never found it documented anywhere. There were 13 other owners. The fifth owner, Sam Israel, was a florist in Detroit and raised flowers on the 25 acres of property. The sixth owner, the one after Sam Israel, sold off portions for two of our subdivisions, Bloomfield Adams Manor and Hickory Hollow subdivision along Kensington. And then the next owner sold off more of the property for Gloucester Square, which is, now call it Kensington Lane, which is where the house currently stands, and also sold a big piece of property to Pilgrim Congregational Church on Adams. The house almost was lost to the demolition in 1977. It had gone into foreclosure and was about to be torn down and used and then develop new homes in the subdivision. But the Gossets, Thomas and Gail Gossett, bought it, spent a huge amount of money restoring it, and that's why it is still available for us to see today. It sits on only 1.85 acres of land instead of 25 acres. Eastover is a grand place, and we love having it around in our area.